Good morning. I'm thinking today about a story that I read about a young man who was was just graduating from high school, and he was going to be spending the summer preparing to go to college. And so he came to his father a few weeks before graduation, and he asked his father if it was possible that they might be able to buy him a second-hand used car that he could take with him to college and maybe even use it over the summer. And his dad said, well, let's think about it. And so his dad said, let's think about it. So the next day, the boy went to his dad and he said, what do you think, Dad? And his dad said, well, how would it be that if you had a brand new car that was one that had never been used, it'd just be yours? And of course the boy's face lit up because he was so excited that he might have a brand new car. And he said, oh, Dad, that'd be a wonderful idea. And his dad said, well, let me think about it and we'll decide maybe as to whether you get it or not. And so the next day, the dad came home for work, and when he came in, he had a book in his hand. And when his son asked him about the car, he said to his son, son, I have this book in my hand and I'm going to give it to you, and I want you to read the book. And I want you to read it page by page. Now when you start reading this book, you'll discover that the pages have never been cut. And what you have to do is you have to cut one page at a time when you get ready to read it. And I don't want you to read it. I don't want you to cut ahead. I want you to read as you cut the pages. Cut the pages as you read. And so the boy, he said, I'd like you to do that, and then we can talk about the car. And so he gave the boy the book. Well, a couple of weeks went by, and his boy came to his dad. He said, Dad, you been thinking any more about the car? And his dad said, how you doing on the book, my son? What are you doing with the book? And the boy said, well, I've read maybe about 20% of the book. And his dad said, well, son, you read the book and cut it page by page as you read it. And when you get to the end of the book, then maybe we can talk about this idea of you having a car. And so the boy went back and started doing all these activities at the end of his school year. And the days went by. It was already graduation, and he hadn't gotten any answer from his dad. And he came to his dad and he said, hey, Dad, we need to deal with this idea of the car. What are we going to do? And his dad said, how are you doing with the book? And he said, oh, Dad, I'm 30 or 40% through the book. And his dad said, well, you get reading the book and we'll talk about the car when you finish reading the book. And the boy said, okay, Dad. And he went his way. Well, he got involved in his summer activities. And then he came to his dad and he said, hey, Dad, what's going on? I need to know about whether I'm going to have a car. I can't really plan about my college without knowing whether I'm going to have a car. And his dad said, hey, son, how you doing on the book? Maybe how far are you? He said, well, I guess, Dad, I'm 55 or maybe 60%. I'm a little over halfway. He said, well, I asked you to read the book, and when you finished reading the book, I said we'd talk about what we could do about the car, and I want you to go back and read the book. Well, the boy left, and he went back and he read a few pages, and of course then he got caught up in his activities, and he forgot about the book, and he was going on, and now it was about maybe 4 weeks before college was supposed to start, and he really needed to do it. So he went to his dad, and he said, Dad, hey, and he sat down on the arm of the chair where his dad was sitting. He said, hey, Dad, you know, we've always been friends, we've always been straight with each other, and I don't understand what's going on about you giving me my car. I really want to know one way or the other. If you aren't going to give it to me, just tell me, but if you are, let me know. And his dad said, how are you doing on the book? He said, well, I'm at least 3/4 of the way through. And his dad said to him, hey, you go bring the book down here, and we'll talk. So he went and got the book, and he brought it down. His dad got his penknife off the desk, and he started cutting the pages of the book. And he cut it page by page. And as he got to the last page, when he cut it, a piece of paper fluttered out of the book and fell on the floor. And the young boy man ran over and he grabbed the paper and he looked at it, It was for a brand new, it was a bill of sale for a brand new car that had been sitting in the dealer's office ever since the day that his dad told him that, when his dad brought him the book. And the problem with it was, the boy was so nonplussed with his failure to do what he told his dad he'd do, that he took in a fit of passion, I think, he took the bill of sale and he tore it up and he threw it in the fireplace. He said, Dad, I'm not worthy of this car. And his dad said, sit down, son, on the chair with me, and let's talk. And he said, you know, son, I think you've learned a big lesson, and I'm open to letting you have the car. So we're going to go down and get the car, but I hope you'll learn the lesson. The lesson that if you've got a responsibility, you have to follow through with it. You can't leave the pages uncut. And a lot of us have uncut pages in our book. We know we need to do this. We promised our parents, we promised ourselves, we promised our God, we promised the school, we promised all kinds of authority figures, we promised all kinds of people that we would cut the pages of the book, that we would follow the contract we made with them, and yet we failed to do it. And what I think we need to learn is that life is full of pages that need to be uncut so that the promises and the gifts that the good Lord has for us can actually be realized in our lives. I'm praying that'll happen to you as you face your future. May God bless you.